It's wedding time. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Stephanie. I do a lot of bookish content and I am actually future Steph because I realized as I'm about to start editing this video that I did not do an intro. So I must have just been like super laser focused on the wedding festivities and just like left, and I did like an update there and then I came back. So cue all the festivities and moving on to the rest of this vlog. Doing a quick little update on my reading since I have some time before the craziness of tomorrow's wedding. So I am in Jersey right now for my sister's wedding and I am reading Pucking Around. I decided to pick up this book instead because I realized the Lucy Score book unfortunately just did not have, it was like the third book in the series. I'm putting this down. Actually, wait, hold on. So I'm currently on page 384. I've made so much progress. I actually sat through like the entire flight. Well, not the entire flight, but like I've never read, or I haven't read a book in one sitting like this in so long. The flight was like about 5 hours. The first hour I was sleeping, then I got up and I just read like the rest of the flight, and I didn't stop like until the last like 30 minutes when it was about to land, and then I couldn't read while like it was descending because I feel like that's when I get kind of like air sick, I guess, like plane sick, whatever. So I didn't read anymore, but I am loving this book so much. It is so fucking hilarious. Wait, let me first put this book down first. But this book is honestly just so hilarious. So I want to just update you guys while I have some time before the hecticness of tomorrow's wedding, because once tomorrow happens, I don't think I'm gonna have time to do any sort of like updates for you guys. But this book is so funny. So I decided to replace this book from Lucy Score's book because I realized that the book that I chose was actually like the fourth book in the series, and I was like, at first I was like, oh, maybe it's not like necessary for me to read the rest of the books, but I realized that there's a lot. It actually is like a continuation, so I couldn't do that. So I decided to pick up this book instead, and this book is so funny, but like in such a funny way, like in such a good way. It follows a girl, her name is Rachel, where she is a doctor, or she's like not a doctor, like not a full doctor yet. I think she's like still doing like fellows and everything like that, and she becomes a Berkeley fellow, and one of her in this role puts her in Florida to be the personal PA for this team called the Rays. There's ice hockey team, and she has been like, she met this one guy a couple months prior that she calls him like the perfect man. Apparently they had like amazing chemistry, amazing sex, etc. And then there's a one night stand, and then she left. Then she finds out that this guy is actually one of the main players for this team, and so they're like rekindling their chemistry and all that. And then the issue is like she has two other guys who are like vying for attention, and she's like, now I gotta choose. But then or do I have to choose? And this book is, dude, I was sitting between two old white dudes on the plane, and I was reading this book and I was like, God, I really hope I'm not like looking over their shoulder to see like what I'm reading, because it is not PG-13. It is so X-rated. It's like smut to the max. I was not like, I was kind of surprised by how smutty it was. Like it's smutty, like it Like my sister the other day was like, have you heard of ACOTAR? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, I heard it's like super like it's all about sex. And I was just like, not really, actually. It's very tame. And they're like, wait, what? So what's like the crazy one? And I was like, Ice Planet Barbarians. But this book is also very up there too. So in terms of like the hot steamy factorness to it, definitely like a level 4, level 5 for sure. But yeah, super entertaining. I'm having so much fun. Like the entire plane ride, I was literally sitting there and just cackling to myself as I was reading, because their banter, their chemistry, like some of their like discussions, like, oh my god, Jake is like such a little puppy, like a little like puppy love, like just so much energy, like all wants all the love. And then Caleb is like the moody one that is just like, you know, she describes him as a cat, and I would kind of agree, to be honest. And then there is Mars, who is like very stable. Like he just seems like a rock, you know. And he's just like, he's someone I would like turn to if I need like someone, if I need to trust someone. Like that's like the vibe I get from him. So the three of them like are very well-rounded, and I don't know, like there's parts of it that I get kind of annoyed with Rachel, because I feel like she's just like all over the place. But I think that's like the purpose of the story, is that she doesn't really know, and she's like, I have so much love to give. So I don't know, I feel like in a way I think I would have been fine if it's just Jake and Caleb, but there's this Mars too, because Mars kind of like came out of nowhere, and I didn't really think there's a lot of chemistry between her and him. Like I feel like if anything was from his side, but then suddenly it became like kind of forced for him to be like there too. So personally, I would have been fine with just like her, Jake, and Caleb, like the three of them having like a triangle situation. Totally on board with that. Mars, I don't know, like I like him, but I just didn't get that chemistry as much. So anyways, I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely going to finish that on my flight back. I just haven't really had a chance to read since we've gotten here, because it's just been like event after event since I am in the wedding party, and it's my sister's wedding. So many events, very crazy, but I'm excited for tomorrow. So and with that, I am back home. So I just got back from the weekend. It was an insane amount of couple of days with just the things we had to do, etc., like festivities, excitement, celebration, blah blah blah. Great couple of days, but I am tired as hell, so I'm gonna sleep early tonight. But I did actually do a lot of reading when I was gone, so I didn't update when I was there already. But this book, amazing. It was wild, it was kinky, it was entertaining, it was fun. I just had such a good time reading it. I definitely is like, this is a very spicy book. The first half, not so much, when she's building up the characters and their relationships together and how they all kind of, the dynamics of everyone. But once I got to the start of her being like, yes, it was go time, guys. Like the amount of sex that happened in this book was insane. And I only read it on the plane, by the way. I barely read it when I was off the plane. So I read most of it going there, and then I finished it up heading back. But the entire time I was reading it, I was really like, please don't anyone see what I'm reading, because there's people next to me. I wasn't sitting by myself.
So it was gonna be very obvious if someone just like peeked over their shoulder and they saw me reading the steamy stuff I was reading, and I was like, embarrassing. But yeah, overall great book, super fun. It was like the comedy, like it starts off like with a banger. Like I was laughing my head off in the beginning. So yeah, it definitely fulfills the comedy prompt that I was working on. So that's that with that book. I do have the second book and third book queued up on my audiobook, so hopefully I'll get to that soon. But I was low-key, I'm like, I really wish it continues with the main characters, but the second book follows her best friend and another hockey player, and the third book follows the PR lady and another hockey player. So I wonder like if this will be more of a monogamous relationship, because this one's for sure polyam. Like I don't think I've ever read a book that's polyam like this before, but it was very interesting just to see like their interactions and like what is like normal and what is not normal. And like honestly, there really is no normal. It's kind of like whatever feels right to you. So it's like all over the place in that sense. But it was a fun time, guys. But anyways, I'm back now. I'm gonna continue reading on with Bonesmith. I am on page 357. I did read a little bit more since I've been back. So I technically flew in late last night, so I've been around today, but I've just been so tired and like catching up with some job hunting, because I didn't job hunt at all over the weekend. So I was doing a lot of that. That took a couple hours because I was catching up with all like the jobs that came up the past couple of days, and then followed up with some people for next steps, etc. So just a lot of like stuff that happened. And then I went to go see a movie. I went to go see My Hero Academia because I really want to see that one, and then I'm back with reading this book. But I think I'm going to sit down and try to finish as much as I can with this book. But I am so fucking full. I just went to a dinner, which I don't think I took any videos of for you guys. But guys, it was a Yup Elite event, which I've been a Yup Elite for almost 10 years now. This is the first event I've had with them where I felt so full. Like I am so stuffed. Like the amount of food they gave us was insane. It also was because normally they just give you like portions of food, but because I came kind of late, I got there 15 minutes late, and they were like, okay, like we'll wait for another table to pop up, we'll wait for more people to show up, because I was the first person for that table. It's like tables of 4, so one other person showed up, and there's supposed to be another person too, but that person never showed up, and we didn't have a 4th person. And so each portion of food was allocated for 4 people, but because my table only had 2 people, all the foods besides like 1 or 2 dishes was portion size to be 4. They didn't reduce anything, because you're not gonna like cut half a steak. So they gave us the full steak, they gave us the full salmon fillet, they gave us the full portion of everything we wanted except for the salmon tartare cones, which came in 2s already. So it's gonna be like, originally it's gonna be 4 cones, but because we only had 2 people, they only gave us 2 for that one. But everything else was like a normal portion size. So we are so full. Like we ate like double the amount of food as everyone else. So in this situation, it worked out great for me being late, because I got so much more food. I brought leftovers home because I was so full. But their steak was a 40-day dry aged New York strip. It was delicious, guys. I was like, wow. It didn't like melt in my mouth like some like other steak will do, because I think it was a little bit too raw for me, from my personal preference. So but like if you really like more raw, like I think they had to make it more raw to fit everyone's preference, because like pieces closer to like the edge were more medium rare, so I really like those pieces. But there was like one right in the middle that was definitely a little bit more raw than I would like, but delicious. The mashed potatoes were delicious. The goat cheese baklava, delicious. And then also the Caesar salad, which I don't really like Caesar salad. I mean, I do, but like it's like such a basic dish. But yo, that Caesar salad was top notch. So anyways, check out that restaurant. It's called BOA or Boa Steakhouse. They have a couple of different locations, but I went to one down Manhattan Beach. Yeah, but that steak, I calculated the entire thing. They also gave us 2 cocktails, and cocktails are sold for 20 bucks each. So total, the table I want to say was like 300 to 350 per table, and then that's not including tax or tip. So like me and that guy, we were about 300 because we didn't have like extra cocktails. We only had 2 that was allocated for individually. So it was about 300, a little over 300. And then so like for me, it was about like 155 per person or so, and that's not including tax or tip. Tax and tip, that's like an easily like $200 meal, and that was all free, guys, because of Yup Elite. So anyways, get Yup Elite. That was like the best event I've had so far with them. Usually I go in and I just get like one thing and then I just leave. This was like a whole sit down meal, and it was it was a big event. Like there were so many people there. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna continue reading while I like unbutton my clothes. I am so stuffed, and then just enjoy life as much as I can since I am jobless right now. Dude, I don't know why, but I am so fucking tired. Like, I just want to go to sleep as soon as possible. I'm gonna eat something really small for dinner, like leftover mashed potatoes from dinner last night, and then just head to bed because I am so tired. But I did manage to finish reading Bonesmith earlier today. I enjoyed it. I feel like the way how it ended, there were a couple surprises, like plot twists that I wasn't expecting, but the rest of it I was kind of like, okay, it's cool. So while I enjoyed it overall, I don't know if I'm gonna continue with this story. Like, I don't love it, if that makes any sense. I think it's like a 3.5 stars for me. Like, it's a solid book, but since I have so many other books to read, I'm not like super invested to continue. So I think I might hold off on finishing the next book, but I still really enjoyed it. I still really appreciate the time I spent reading it. But I decided to pick up my next book now, and that is a hunker. This one, guys. House of Flame and Shadow. This is the book 3 in the Crescent City series, and I am on page 23. So I haven't made too much progress so far, but I can already tell you it's going to be a banger of a book because I love the characters, I love the story. Vrisen's in it, and I'm like, yes, everyone's in it. So I'm really excited to see how this will continue. But yeah, I'm going to eat my food now, read my book, and then I'm gonna head to bed because I'm so tired. Like, it's not even that late. It's like 5:15 p.m. right now. Like, what the fuck? But I have been tired since like since 2 o'clock. My mind just went like boom, and I was just like literally staring and just like, I have no motivation. But I need to shower tonight because I have a couple interviews tomorrow, and they're like bright in the morning, so I need to shower, give myself time for my hair to dry before the interview. But I don't know, like, I'm just so fucking tired. So anyways, I'm gonna eat my food, read this book, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't know when I last updated you guys, but I have done some reading of this behemoth of a book. Just look at this. But I am now on page 176. I've made some progress. I don't even know if it's good progress or not because I don't know when I last updated you guys and when I started this book, but I feel like it's pretty good progress. I definitely plan to read some more tonight. It's only 8 p.m. so I have like an hour or 2 of reading. But knowing me, that's gonna be like 30 minutes of reading because I'll be on my phone for most of that time. But I'm really enjoying it. It definitely took me some time to get back into it because I haven't read the series in a hot minute, and I had to kind of remember who all the characters were, especially now that the world has combined with Akatar characters as well as Crescent City characters. So now I have to remember double the amounts. Obviously, like the main characters, I remember who they are, but like outside of the core members, especially for Crescent City, I'm like, who is Flynn again? Who is Declan? Like, how all these people interact with each other? I actually had to go online to like the wiki pages to be like, who's everyone. Obviously from the Akatar side, I have no issues so far with everyone, but yeah, I definitely, this makes me realize I really do need to go and just do a reread again. Part of me wants to reread Akatar because obviously it's very relevant with the story now that they have meshed. At the same time though, I think rereading the No Glass series will also be really relevant too, because I think that's the next part. That's how they're all gonna mesh together. So either way, I need to reread the series because there's a lot to take in, and I need some detailed note-taking for this series because it is crazy. But yeah, that's my update for now. Reading this book. Hopefully I can finish it over the weekend. We'll see how that goes. Alright, now I'm here to end this vlog now that I've had time to digest everything, and it is Saturday evening. It's not that late yet, but I want to end this vlog now because I am so frustrated with Bryce. Like, she has made some stupid mistakes. So I'm obviously still reading this book over here. I am on page 252, so I've definitely made some progress. I need to obviously continue with this during the next week because I need to just like read this and just immerse myself in it. But yeah, Bryce pissed me off. Like, okay, the one thing I don't like about this book right now is that it jumps a lot. Like, if you're reading this on audio, I feel like you'll be so confused because it'll be like a couple of paragraphs and then there'll be like an indent and then boom, we're like in a different world, we're different characters. Like, it is very confusing to follow sometimes, so you really have to read very carefully. And I feel like this is not her normal style of writing, probably because she doesn't really jump worlds and places like this. I swear, like the last two books, it's always been like each chapter will be a different POV and that's when it jumps, not when it's like just a couple paragraphs and it jumps. Like, it's too fast and too sudden sometimes that I'm like, what the fuck? Like, she just mentioned this one like bombshell and then Bryce decides to make and then suddenly we go back to Declan and Ethan and like in that world, and boom, suddenly we're back into this world, like the Akatar world, and Bryce is like, okay, make this decision, knowing that it's like Evo incarnate, and she knows how bad these people are because she's actually know them, unlike Nesta and Azriel, who've never encountered this person before, any of those beings before, because it's been like 15,000 years. Bryce is like, you know what, even though I interact with them all the time, I think it's a great idea for me to just unlock this thing. Like girl, I know you need to like, you're trying to save Hunt, but like, I don't know, maybe try to bargain a different way, you know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me? So anyways, I'm very frustrated with her right now. I hope that like the next paragraph or chapter I read will be significantly better, but that's literally what just ended and I'm like pissed off. But anyways, I do also have to mention that I am very smart and therefore I did not have to read The Glass Spare anymore because I found another book that is on audio. It's called The Greenwich Park and I'm listening to it right now. I literally just started, so I'm like maybe 3% in. It's basically about this woman who is having a baby and she goes to her first like prenatal class. I don't know like what kind of class this is per se, like is it like education? I have no idea. So she goes to this class and she meets this woman, a single mother called Rachel, and Rachel just already seems very off and like just has no like filter, just very like obtuse. For example, she literally just met this girl. I've interacted with her like one time and Rachel immediately like touches her belly and is like, oh, where's the head? Like, let me help you find the baby's head. And the woman's just like, what the fuck? Like, you're just touching me suddenly? Like, that's a huge invasion of privacy. I'm like, I don't want someone touching me like that. Like, I don't even know this person, you know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to have like your significant other or your family and be like, hey, but even then it's like you like ask them first a little bit, like especially when you're pregnant, like your hormones are all over the place. So that already is very startling to me, but we'll see how this goes. And then as the story kind of continues, supposedly like there's some linkage with this woman and the main character. I think her name is Hannah, and like there might be some like past between the two of them. I have no idea. But yeah, so far like I just started, but at least now I don't have to read Glass Bear and I can tackle this one. And then once I finish these two books, I just have the Heart of the Sun Warrior and Swordcatcher left to read, and it is currently October 19th. So there might be a good chance I actually finish all the books I want to read this month or plan to read this month. Also on the job hunt section, which I mentioned I was going to like update you guys. Obviously I didn't really do that since I didn't really do the updates or do the intro until now. But so I'm just confused. So she called me in at 1:30 last Friday and basically was like, oh, I'm just letting you know that we decided not to go with you because we decided to, like, the company loved talking to you, everyone loved meeting you, we think you had some great experiences and expertise, but there's a lot of overlap between your skills and someone else on the team, and that the team had decided to pivot to more PR role. And I was like, oh, okay, like that's fair, like I have no issues with that, because I think that's like very valid, because I did wonder, like, this lady did feel like she had a lot of overlap, like that, like the head of marketing. I feel like what she did exactly like what I did. So I was kind of wondering why they're hiring someone who's like does everything that she kind of does. But I do know that, like, from what my discussion, that they were going to replace her at some point, like down the line. So I don't know if she was like, you know what, I don't want you to replace me, let's hire a PR person instead, which again, very valid, that's not an issue. And so then I asked the recruiter, I was like, oh, so like, are you guys gonna hire more PR role? And she's like, oh no, we're still hiring for this role. And then that's the part that I was very confused, because I looked at the job description later. So we ended the call because I was just like, okay, like kind of in shock a little bit, because first of all, why would a recruiter make the effort to call you to reject you? Like, usually that can just be done through email. Like, I've gone through final rounds and been rejected, and it's always just been through emails, or I've been ghosted. Like, I've never had them call me before to let me know, because that just seems like really out of the way, and like, I don't know, like false hope, but it's whatever. But the part that's really confusing to me is the fact that she was like, oh yeah, like, no, we're still hiring this position, this marketing role. And I'm just like, but the marketing role has nothing to do with PR. Like, the job description mentions nothing. Like, public relations is not even in the job description. Doesn't talk about press releases, doesn't talk about communications, doesn't talk about press, like public relations, like nothing like that. And no one asked me about that in interviews either. So which is why I was like, oh, like, it's interesting that you guys want to go to a PR role when that was never a topic that was discussed in any of my interviews, like with the CEO, head of product, head of sales, like head of HR. Like, I talked to all the heads, by the way. So I don't know, just a very interesting experience overall. Like, I don't really know what they're hiring per se anymore, because if they're not going to change the job description, then like that job description is so misleading. They're not going to find someone who does PR based on that job description. So I don't know, whatever. But very odd experience. So that's that. And then I did have like new interviews that came up the past week or so. So I've been interviewing with those companies. I have a new interview on Monday, and then I'm following up, like I'm continuing down the interview process with a couple other companies. So I've been rejected by a couple companies, and I've been rejected by like 3 companies, like actual rejections, and 2 of them I like ghosted them because I felt like they were just scams. So anyways, that's my update for the job fronts. Point is, I'm still looking, I'm still job hunting. Hopefully something pans out soon, but unfortunately it was not that company, which honestly, like, probably for the best, because they are not that close to me, so the commute would have been kind of annoying, especially because they were pretty like strict about it being fully on site. I mean, they have the flexibility, but they always said that prior, and then once you start, they're like, oh, actually they're very like strict about it, and then you're just like, okay, I was hoodwinked. Not saying that they actually do that, but like, I've been in experiences where they do that, so probably for the best. But yeah, I will continue reading, and I will get back to you guys in terms of my update once I start the next vlog. But that's all to say for this video. Let me know how you guys are doing for this spookopathon, bookopathy, readathon. If you guys been powering through, how many books have you read? Have you read any of the books that I've read? If you've read ACOTAR, like this chunker, let me know your thoughts too. But like, no spoilers yet, because I'm still reading it. But as always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up or like this on my channel. And if you see more content of me, please don't hesitate to subscribe down below, as well as hit the notification bell. And as always, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!